Hello everyone, and welcome back to Chaosville, and I am going to be your master of horror for the evening, lying in bed more. Currently wearing a boilerplate on everything, because I'm wearing iron armor. Finally had to tool up. When I went mining I got a lot of iron, and a lot of other resources, so I've upgraded this double chest into a pair of gold chests now. 19 diamonds so far, but I haven't found a use for them just yet. Kind of keeping them stored here just in case I need them. Still a ton of iron, quite a ton of iron, but since we're currently hand grinding all of it, it's a bit slow. I replaced the rubber tree on this with some witch wood from Ars Magica. There was a tree of that over there, and I've also used the chisel on this after replacing this with witch wood as well. So this has a nice little sort of rogue-esque pattern. And I've also changed the doors over to pine wood, so they stick out a bit better. And I've installed the fridge using pine wood and a couple of droppers. So that looks pretty good. This is one of the options if you do use the carpenter's hammer on the front door, so good. Got a witch's oven, got an iron furnace. I think I've showed all that before. Got some tool racks now, so I can keep all of the stuff that usually goes into my third slot up here, just in case I need it for any particular purpose. And you can see around the area I have added these sort of lifts, and that is because today we're going to be building the roof, because it rains a fair bit on the server and I would really like to not get wet so often. I'm English enough as it is. So while I'm doing that, our topic for the day... Oop, hello. This is another one of those bolus skeletons. They keep turning up and I'm not quite sure what's causing them. Let's see where to start this from. Today we're going to be discussing... I keep forgetting what it is. Jeez. Forgive me on that one. Today we're going to be discussing the fruit cellar. And perhaps basements in a general sense as well, because underground abodes seem to be a bit of a magnet for horror events and horror movies. So, in the case of The Evil Dead, the principal location within which you must not go is the fruit cellar, which is through that hatch there. And the reason that you don't go there is because in the original movie it is the repository for the former inhabitant of the cabin's research notes, as well as the audio tape that summons the Deadite by reading out the Book of the Dead, Necronomicon Ex Mortis. And in the sequel, Evil Dead 2, you don't go down there because he buried his Deadite-possessed wife in the fruit cellar. And of course, in the Army of Darkness, it's a completely different setting, so not that big of an issue there. Okay, it's just a fairly straightforward log pattern kind of roof. Nothing too complicated, but we're going to be smoothing it out with some carpenter's slopes later on. There we go. And, whoop, did not mean to put that there. That should be my axe. Lovely. And so currently I can get up onto the roof using the fridge, but that of course is going away soon. Well, not the fridge, but that access is. The fridge is staying because I need a place to refrigerate stuff and keep things cool. Okay. Actually, do I want... Yeah, now I think I have to go all the way across like that. So these are all just following the direction of the building. Okay, that will get me over here. Perfect. So, the fruit cellar inside of Evil Dead has a bit of a nebulous arrangement. We know that there's at least 2 rooms, possibly 3. But it's a fairly dark location. There's lots of different camera angles that don't really show you too much about it. I think it's possible to actually develop an idea of what it looks like, but it's a little tricky. So I'm probably going to have to watch the footage and develop my own idea of how it is arranged. And I know that I know that they find the audio tape in the back room. I know that there's the boiler system. There's at least one pipe which seemingly carries an endless supply of blood, which we might actually be able to replicate. I'm sure there's got to be some kind of liquid that's just pure red. Nope, you are not going to be there. And we've nearly finished this section. Yep. Thanks, Meg, for logs not being dependent upon which direction you are facing anymore. Okay. As you can see, it goes up to one more level, so we can get our nice peak. And after a point, we're gonna have to rip out some of it over here to install the chimney. And over here is also a little hang, which we are evidently going to need to go and get more spruce logs for, but that's not too difficult. Just pop over to roughly next day, we can just hop across the water. At some point, I should probably build the destroyed bridge from the movie as well, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay, but that is this section done. So we got a nice view. Got our roofs around most of the area. Bathroom still needs furniture. And I think I was one short over here. There. Okay, so that goes all the way around. There's the overhang. That looks perfect, fantastic. Let's go up on the hill, take another look at that. So yeah, I don't have any concrete idea of what am I hitting here? I don't really have any concrete idea of what the layout inside of the fruit cellar is like. Ah, that looks fantastic. Wonderful. And this is a chew, which are really annoying. What did he give me? Green chew jelly, used for making green potion, which refills magic. Okay, I'm not using magic, at least not just yet. And oh yes, we got a visit from our army buddy, and friendly alchemist, Nipty. This isn't metaphoric of anything, I should mention. Despite him having just recently gone off to the army, he just happened to die here. And there are meant to be a couple of graves near the house, at least circa Evil Dead 2, because there are 2 people who are buried in the course of the first movie. Yeah, that looks quite nice. But let's go and chop down some. Well, let's make a second axe because we're going to need one. 3. And then I think once we've gotten the main structure of the building done, we can start to investigate a few mods to see if we can replicate some of the mysterious goings-on around. Oh yeah, this is just cobblestone, and I've used the hammer to make this sort of mesh thing. It's actually made of sticks. In the original movie, you can see that this is actually a sort of a frame or a mesh of some kind made out of sticks. I'm not quite sure why it's there. On the other side is also meant to be sort of a hanging bench, but of course we don't have access to that, so for that I've used these seats from Biblio, I think it is, yes, but Bibliocraft. So there's a seat and there's a separate back that you can add to customize it, so I just use birch for that. You can't unfortunately colour this as near as I can tell, but that gives us this sort of a nice place to sit. So there I am, enjoying a nice sit on the porch. But let's see. Anyways, over to getting more spruce wood to finish that up. There's a lapis zombie. Ooh, that's a bit. That looks a bit more. Is that osmium armor as well? Huh. Right, well, there it goes. Okay. But yeah, the fruit cellar isn't really well known, so I'm gonna work out my own designs for that. And the basement in general, you always get there's a lot of areas within inside the house that tend to like come under fire as sources of horror and terror, but low, dark, rarely visited locations like cellars and attics tend to be heavily among them. And I can only presume this is due to the commonly poor lighting. We also need to make a shed. I've just remembered there's a tool shed with a chainsaw. I'm not entirely certain why it is exactly that these places happen to have such poor reputations, but it's probably to do with cramped, almost claustrophobic conditions and low lighting, because of course humans can't see in the dark very well. Yeah, so well there. Yep. Okay, next victim. There we are. Ooh, that is a great wood tree. Oh, no, that's a spider tree. I wonder if there's any loot under that. In the previous version of that's basically part of Formcraft. One of the most famous magical mods. And it will spawn spiders if you're not cautious. And unfortunately, my sword is nearly dead. But these guys tend to be poisonous at least, so let's just hurry up, plant some torches, light this up. Ultra hostile style. And there we are. Yeah, monsters spawn a cave spider. Evidently, we don't have them actually spawning. I'm just gonna have to punch this down, aren't I? To find out what goodies lie within. But yeah, the spiders are another fantastic example. This tree is covered in cobwebs. And cobwebs tend to be a sign of a lack of human activity. They tend to be a sign that people haven't been in the area for a while. And they indicate abandonment and places that, for whatever reason, humans don't visit. Average power catalyst used in alchemy from blood magic. 8 force gems. Endro lily seeds. Ooh, I might try and use those. Some tin. A builder's wand from extra utilities. That's interesting. And a logic matrix. Found in dungeons, libraries, and librarians. Okay, well, let's take this box alright, because we might have a use for it. Okay. So now I'm strictly bow duty. Take back the torches, because we don't need them around here anymore. There. So, okay, got that tree. Those leaves are going to bug someone, I'm sure. And we have, so far, 20 more spruce, but we need more than that. So, yeah, in general, areas that seem to have been abandoned elicit this sensation of being creepy. They elicit this sensation that we shouldn't be there. And there's a fairly reasonable explanation for that, versus the oddness that a perfectly habitable location is now uninhabited. For example, you can walk around Pripyat in Chernobyl, the Chernobyl exclusion perimeter, which I believe I've discussed at length before. It's probably certainly in Stalker, where you can see me wandering around the zone itself. Because it's a perfectly functional environment that was just one day completely devoid of human habitation, which makes it seem strange to us. That doesn't make sense. It's a break in the pattern. And then we find these areas like attics and cellars and all sorts that are dark. Humans have a natural terror of the dark. They are claustrophobic, they're close, it's hard to move, we find ourselves having trouble breathing in dark areas, not for any biological purpose, just because it makes us uncomfortable. And a lot of people have phobias of claustrophobia and such. Fears of being in tight, confined spaces, such as basements and attics, quite happily. And then there's the fact that since we can't see it, since we can't see everything inside these areas, it generally tends to lend us the idea that we don't know what is actually in them. We're often afraid of the dark. We believe there are monsters in the boogeyman. And we also get the... You are not a tree cow. There we go. And then we also get the sensation that because it's close, and we're kind of hemmed in and we're caught in a tight spot, whatever is inside the darkness can be coming in touch with us very quickly. So, for example, there's the common thing of, like, walking right through a cobweb and it covering your face and feeling terrible. Which for me is terrible, because I'm arachnophobic. I'm terrified of spiders. So there's just all these many, like, fairly innocuous and harmless, really, things that combine and conspire to create this location that we don't really want to go, we don't really usually have much reason to go, and when we do, we dislike it. Okay, how many... 19? Oh, a stack and 19, okay. So that is probably more than enough to polish things off. I'll pick up these saplings, because I'm going to need them later. And I did, unfortunately, when I took down the witchwood tree to get the wood for that, it didn't drop any saplings. Now, the witchwood is part of Ars Magica 2, so whether it actually drops saplings at all, I don't actually know, because I haven't touched Ars Magica as yet. And I don't know if I ever will, but it seems to be so tremendously abundant in the world that I may as well give it a shot at some point. I believe you put a book over this in an item frame and it creates the guide to it. So I may try that and just add it to the collection of books inside the cabin. That seems like a smart move. And oh yes, I have no weapon. Oh, Glitch apparently had some troubles around here. There seems to be a lot of people that come visiting around here. This actually seems to be a fairly popular neighborhood on the server at the moment. Because let's see, we've got Tyser, X, and Miles over in that direction behind us. And we've got Dave over there, and I don't know where the VG Toolbox guys are explicitly, but evidently they came this way. And there's something. Does this actually block light? No, it doesn't. That would have been interesting, though. And I need to way up here. No. Do it the easy way. Okay. Now, of course, cramped and dark locations aren't the only locations that we can be afraid of. As former prey creatures, we can be afraid of a great many things. And for a great many reasons. And that's lost to all time. Great. Okay, let's drag this over. And that shall begin to form the roof over the closet, the bedroom, and the guest bedroom. Which you don't see too much of, but I believe it's... if you watch Evil Dead 1, which I recently did to refresh my memory on a few things, you can see there's a big pan across that entire side of the... I think it's this side of the cabin, and it shows you through all of the windows that are along here, so you see the living room, you see the bedroom, and you see the eventual guest room. So that will probably come in handy with regards to my figuring out of what goes into those rooms, in terms of decoration for the most part. But yeah, there's another... Do those spawn on the graves? I wonder if that's this. I wonder if that's the thing. Well, I suppose we'll find out after a fact, anyways. But yeah, it doesn't have to be dark and claustrophobic areas, because, as I say, Pripyat is a whole city, and it's fairly large, it's open, you can find all manner of environs inside of it, but we still find it creepy. So it's not just claustrophobic, there's also the agoraphobic. A lot of people, when they're asked to think of the universe and themselves in relation to it, describe the universe as making them feel afraid and small and insignificant, and that in and of itself is another fear response. Not a massive one in most cases, but agoraphobia is also something that we have to worry about as human beings. And yeah, we need a bit more spruce, it seems. So far I've set up like a small barley field just in that water area there that I've been using to get a bunch of food. But I do have something like 30-odd zombie brains on in supply as well. So I could start using those if I wanted to. Which is, it's interesting, because the zombie brains appear to replace the rotten flesh that a lot of the undead, that zombies in particular, drop. So it's interesting that it's... Oh, geez, the back door's open. That's interesting predominantly because zombies will drop several pieces of rotten flesh, so now we have zombies dropping several brains. I don't know, maybe we're getting their lunchbox as well, I don't know. But I believe that's it for today, more or less. I'll just deposit these items in. Mundane Power Catalyst, Mundane Power Catalyst, Standard Binding Agent. Oh yes, I should plant those at some point. Green Chew Jelly. Builder's Wand. I'll stick that in the tool chest. I don't quite know what it's for as yet, but I'll stick it over here. And I guess I'll grab that one. Rearrange this a little bit. Perfect. Although the hammer looks a little bit out of place there. Is the Forge Hammer from Industrial Craft, used to make the plates in lieu of Greg Tech. And if you've watched my previous season of Chaosville, you know I'm not remotely a big fan of a big fan of Greg Tech. So, anyways, next episode I'll have this roof finished up, and either we'll get to work using the slopes from carpentry, although you've seen me using carpentry bits quite a bit already, to finish that up, or we'll be beginning work on the fruit cellar, as I have managed to derive its layout and function. And we may have some issues because the ground ends over there, so I'm not sure how low we'll have to take it. But anyways, with that, I shall catch you all next time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and or a favorite. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe to be notified of future updates. You can also check out the website where most other content is uploaded. That's all for now, catch you later.